Morning Football on this Super Bowl Tuesday. We're headed to Minnesota after the show, where we'll be continuing our coverage of Good Morning Football for 4 hours. We have like 15 guests tomorrow. Over 4 hours. It's going to be amazing. We've got lots of coverage here, over 85 live hours from Minnesota this week on NFL Network. Let's go out to Aditi Kinkhabwala right now. She's at the Patriots media area at the Mall of America, where players and coaches will take the stage live and answer some questions later today. Aditi, the Patriots defense made a huge turnaround since the start of the season, but on Super Bowl Sunday, they will face the league's third-ranked rushing offense. So how are Matt Patricia and that pencil and that leather jacket and Bill Belichick, whether he's wearing a suit or a cut-up sweatshirt, how are they preparing for that tough Eagles ground game?
Okay, let's start with talking about that run defense. Really, it's been since Week 16 that they've clamped things down. In fact, the Patriots are only allowing 72 rush yards a game. Really, the best example here is that through the playoffs, Derrick Henry and Leonard Fournette combined managed only 104 yards against this Patriots run defense. So I talked to linebacker Kyle Van Noy last night about this at length, and he said it was a pride thing. He said we started meeting together more, we talked about things more, we held each other more accountable, and he said, of course, the favorite word of the Patriots, discipline. It's about having more discipline. Of course, against the Eagles, this is one of the most dangerous rushing attacks that the Patriots have seen. And Van Noy talked a lot about Blunt. LeGarrette Blunt, of course, was the Patriots teammate a year ago. He said he's so sneaky because he's really tough, he's powerful, but then he can also get around outside. He also said, Kay, that he's a really good trash talker. And with 10 playoff touchdowns, there's a good chance that LeGarrette Blunt may have a chance to do a little more trash talking.
Aditi, Nate's going to talk a little bit more about LeGarrette Blunt in the coming segments, but we want to talk about a guy who wasn't there last night, someone who I thought was a giant void in opening it. Rob Gronkowski did not speak with the media. He's in concussion protocol. We're hoping we see him on Sunday. What's the latest on Gronk, Aditi?
Well, Peter, we keep saying that it was a sedate opening night, and maybe if Gronk had been there, it wouldn't have been so much so. But here's what we do know. He was back at practice on Saturday. He hasn't yet officially been cleared, but he did post on Instagram yesterday that he is ready to roll. And, of course, this Patriots offense is very different with him, without him. In fact, Tom Brady actually has an average passer rating. His passer rating without Gronkowski is exactly what the league average is. So there's really no expectation right now that Gronkowski will miss Sunday's game, will miss the Super Bowl. And, of course, the Patriots, as we know, are a much more difficult, much more dynamic team with him.
No tight end has more yards or touchdowns in postseason history in the NFL than one Rob Gronkowski, and he didn't even play last year. Great stuff, Aditi Kinkhabwala with the Patriots. Let's move on now to the challengers, those Eagles who've been in Minnesota a day earlier than the Patriots, since all the way on Sunday. And that's where we find our very own Tom Pelissero. He's at the Eagles media area. So you aren't, I imagine, that far from Aditi, right? They're opposite sides of the mall. I'm trying to gain perspective of this.
It's a large mall, Aditi.
Okay.
You have to walk by at least 9 Starbucks to get from me to her.
9 Starbucks, got it. That puts things into perspective. Thank you very much, Tom. We saw a huge crowd surrounding Tom Brady for his 8th Super Bowl media day. And he went out and said that it was bigger and bigger every year. What was it like for the other starting quarterback, though? What was it like for Nick Foles?
Fair to say it was a more intimate crowd for Nick Foles than the one that had lined up 5 tripods deep before Tom Brady started speaking. But Foles seemed loose. He seemed relaxed, even when he was being peppered with questions about Tom Brady. What's it like playing in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady? What do you think of the TB12 method? At one point, a reporter asked Foles, what's your favorite physical trait of Tom Brady's? Quote, the beauty of the man. Foles just smiled and said, I will take the next question about football. That steadiness is something that players and coaches talk about that they really like from Nick Foles since he took over from an injured Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz was at media night as well. He was sitting on the stairs, took some questions from reporters. He has family members coming down from North Dakota for this game, but not as many as he would have had if he were playing. Wentz admitted there are mixed emotions. It's going to hit him on Sunday. But he thinks once they get into the game flow and the preparations on the sideline, he'll be ready to roll. I also spoke to their other quarterback, Nate Sudfeld, who said the quarterback room has been awesome. Wentz is still a leader, but he's really taken a back seat here to let Nick Foles take that leadership role. Wentz even handed over the remote for when they're watching game film, and guys, that is a difficult thing for any man to do.
Tom, now Philly brought the fourth-ranked defense into the playoffs, and then all they did was shut down the Falcons and Vikings offenses. But now they face a different type of challenge and a different type of beast than Tom Brady. And some say the underdogs, even with that bark, they're biting off more than they can chew. How are Jim Schwartz and that Eagles defense preparing for the GOAT?
Well, in a way, it sort of begins with Nate Sudfeld, who's playing the role of Tom Brady in practice. Sudfeld told me he keeps it pretty simple, pretty classy. He's not spatting his shoes, wearing the wristbands and the gloves and the towel and everything to look like Brady. Not trying to mimic him mechanically either, because Brady does some unusual things like having his left foot forward in the shotgun. But Sudfeld said he does get to the line of scrimmage, makes checks, does some of the gyrations to try to give that defense the best look possible. One challenge with being on the scout team when you are pretending to be the Patriots is the fact that there are a lot of different route conversions that are in their offense in terms of you might have something that's an out against cover 2 that becomes more of a corner against cover 3. So when Sudfeld's looking at the cards that the defensive coaches draw up, he's got to do a little bit of interpretation and ask himself, what would Brady do? I also talked to safety Rodney McLeod, who said that Rob Gronkowski certainly is a focus here. They got to know where he is on the field because that's a tell for what the Patriots are trying to do offensively. But McLeod said it begins with making sure that we can disrupt Tom Brady. Got to put pressure on him, make him uncomfortable, because when that guy is comfortable, he's one of the best to ever do it. Guys, the schedule today, the Eagles have group and team meetings this morning. Then another press conference here this afternoon. Then they can focus on football. First full practice of the week comes up tomorrow.
I'm sure they're looking forward to more and more questions there at the Mall of America. Great stuff from Tom Pelissero. Great updates from him and Nikin Kabwala. They are with you all day long on NFL Network with over 85 hours of live coverage of Super Bowl 52. Get it here. No need to change the dial. Next on Good Morning Football, they've ridden the title of underdog all the way to Super Bowl 52, but there's at least one Patriot who ain't falling for it. He ain't having it. So we'll explain that, not the poodle mask, when we get back to Europe.
These players don't know it, but their lives just got a lot more.